So now we're going to look at how to transform data or move a section of data with an offset problem, for instance. We want to move a section of record to match our offsets or our staff gauge. So here's an example here of this lake level, which has an offset in this section of record over this month, possibly between site visits, where the data hasn't been loaded correctly, and at the start of the record we have a gap, and the end of the record it just drops straight down. So we can zoom in on that too. So let's have a look at that a bit closer. Bringing in these boxes. So you can see the record here obviously needs adjusted and ramped or transformed back down to match the record at each end. So if we save that and exit, we can actually list that data to find out when this actually occurs. So we can list it to the screen. Okay, so if we list the data and we can scroll down, we can see our gap at the start of the record. So it's on the 1st of March at 11 o'clock. We have a jump, you see this from 350 to 850, so 500 millimeter rise in the record there. So that's the start. We need to know this date and time to take 500 off at that point. And if we search for the end point, which was about the 2nd of April, and we can see here it's 177,600 drops down to 177,100. So at this point here we need to know that date and time, 2nd of April, 12 o'clock, to drop it by 500 at that point. So we need to transform the data. If we go back to our graph again, transform this data back down by 500 millimeters, because it's 500 at both ends. So it's a nice clean drop of 500 millimeters. So if we exit out of there, we need to choose that period of data. So, and then we need to move it. So we can either go graph, select data, or move, transform, which brings up this box, and then we're going to select our data. So in this case, we need to know the times. So we know it's from March the 1st, and it was at 12 o'clock, to April the 1st at 1 o'clock, 1300. So we're setting the time. We want to do the adjustment, so that's that period of record from here through to here. And we want to transform it. We're going to leave these as defaults because instantaneous. We're going to leave the time interval. The site number is going to stay the same. We don't want to multiply, divide, but we want to add, in this case, a minus 500 millimeters. So we're adding a minus to bring that record down. And always, as always, check our destination file, which is our file we've been working on, started to our temporary working file. So once we're happy with that, we can go OK. The plot will disappear. But if we go back and graph that again, you'll see it's ramped the data back down to match the other record. So transform, a nice way if you've got a same offset at both ends to change the data, move it up or down. So this is not to be confused with a ramp. A ramp is where the offset are different at each end. So there may have been 500 at the start and 400 at the end. So it needs a slope, a sloping transform if you like. So a ramp is different. That'll be covered under more advanced training. So after our transform, we can go back and replot our data. So this time we'll go back and we'll go whole record again, plot that. So you can see here we have probably a 15-minute or 5-minute gap at the start where that batch came down, but we also we're slightly out at the end, so one of these values is dropped by 500. So we can quickly go in there and change that again. So let's just zoom in on that last section there. So we can see what we've done. So you can see there's one value we've gone too far with our transform, and we've pulled down the value at the end here. So again, if we zoom in a bit closer to where our data is, we can put the points on. You can see there's one point here that's too low. So if we save that and exit, we can either use the graphing tool to edit that and remove the spike, or we can just go into our list again. So we want to list series data to a list file, and then we want to entry list data fully specified, pick up our got the right output file. So let's edit that file, and if we scroll down, we will see that's where the gap is, and there's that value that spiked low, so it should be 177. So we've got to add 500 to here, so that would bring it up to 177,129. 77129. So if we save that and go OK, it puts it back onto our file. We can regraph that now and look at our data. We're going to go all the record, plot that, and you can see the spike's now gone. All the records okay. It has got these gaps. There's 3 gaps in the record here. So we can remove those 3 gaps under management gap. Turns out there's 4. There's actually 4 gaps in the record there, so there must be 2 in one of those places there. But they're all 5 minute, so we can select all 4 of them by using select all and delete the gaps. And then when we replot it, you'll see the record's all nice and clean, finished.